Hello Infiniteers, and welcome back to my build for the Axiom. Today I'm going to show you how I built the robot repair ward. I have had several people request this over the years, including one very persistent fellow who left many comments on my videos asking for this specific build. And I'm sorry it took so long to do it, Uriel, but I hope it was worth the wait. Now, before we get into the build, let's take a look at some screenshots of this location from the movie so we know what it is we're trying to recreate. The repair ward is found behind the door at the end of this corridor. We don't know where this corridor is in relation to the rest of the ship, so we have some freedom to put this wherever we want in our build. When the door opens, there's a circular entryway that leads into a long room. The sides of the room are angled, with some angled beams or braces that stick out away from the wall at regular intervals. Along each wall are some pens that have a force field along the front to keep the malfunctioning robot inside the pen. There's a track along the ceiling with some robotic arms that are used to service the robots. This shot looks back at the door that leads into this room, and we get a closer look at the robotic arms and the angled panels along the wall. You can also see pretty clearly that the floor is gray and has a dull shine to it. This shot gives us a nice close look at each of the pens along the wall where the malfunctioning robots are placed. Each pen is enclosed with its own set of force field walls, not just along the front, but on the sides too. At the far end of the repair ward is the diagnostics bay, which is behind a semi-transparent blue-green door. Inside this room is a central pillar with 3 diagnostic chairs, for lack of a better word, where a robot may be placed and analyzed. The bay itself is a round chamber that is well lit. So this is what we want to try to build, and once again, we don't have a lot of building pieces that we can use for the angled walls or the ceiling or the pens along the wall or really even the robotic arms. So we need to get really creative with the pieces that we do have. Fortunately, there is one terrain customization power disk that gives us some robotic arms and some things that we can use for this room, and that is the Stark Tech disk. And I've already placed that on my Disney Infinity base. If you don't have this disk, you can get by without it, but the robotic arms provide a much needed detail for this room to really help it feel like the repair ward. So if you're on a console and you can get this power disk, I highly recommend getting it. Now, the escalator that we previously built is down this way, and we added the corridors last time, and the entrance to the repair ward I chose to place over here, and it'll be through that round door. And let me show you some of the pieces that I found that I think can be helpful with this. Again, the floor, we set this up last time using the Nomancian Island floor for Syndrome's lair. I think that's a good match to what we saw in the movie. Now, for the pens and the force field along the front, we don't really have anything useful for that. I did see one build where they used a flat wall, basic block, and used the hologram theme, but I didn't care for that. But when I was looking around the toy box, I found this piece, which is the short fenced glass sidewalk. This is from the Star Command pieces from the Toy Story in Space playset. And the little fence there along the front, it's got a blue force field on it. It doesn't look exactly like what's in the movie, but it's a nice detailed piece. And I kind of like the look of that better than what we see in the movie. Of course, the problem with this piece is that we've got this whole chunk of floor here behind it. And I don't really need this. For one thing, if we just use it as is, it's going to stick up way off the floor. And we got the whole length of this. So in order to use this, if you open up the logic menu, you'll notice there's a path connection. So we can connect this to a path and put this exactly where we want it in our build, and we're going to do that. And then for the sides, because this has no railing along the side, we'll use this piece out of Building Sets Group 2. It's the short city railing. And then for the ceiling, I thought we could use this piece out of the platforming toys. It's the Droid Factory floating platform. And if you look at it from underneath, it's got some lights, and I think that can work pretty well for a ceiling. So those are some of the pieces we're going to use. The rest of it has got to be done with building blocks. And so we have to come down to the blocks drawer and figure out what we can do with the basic blocks. So let me pull up my screen grab here. And the first thing we're going to do is drop one of these right here. Excuse me. And for the majority of the walls, we're going to use a style. If you go over to the left, it's the white plastic panel. That's about the best theme that I could find in the block pieces that didn't look half bad and had a little bit of detail that kind of reminded me a little bit of what was in the movie as far as some of the detail along the walls. Again, it's not exact, but it's not bad. So we're going to place those along there like that. And then along the back here, we're going to put down 1, 2, 3, 4. Stack that 2 high. Do the same thing on the other side. Like that. Okay? So that kind of gives us the length of our angled room here. And on the other end of this, we'll do the same thing we did on the entrance. And need our wedge piece to go in there. Like that. Okay. Now, let's focus on this part of the room first, I think. And to get the angled walls that we need, what we're going to do is we're going to come over here and let's grab this piece. And I want to come over here and we're going to do 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we're going to leave a gap for 2 cubes. So another 2 cubes, and we'll put one here. Another 2 cubes, put one here. And then when we get to the other end, the last one will go there. Do the same thing on this side, directly across from what we have on the other side. And this will be part of the beams, the angled beams that stick out from the wall. All right? And then we're going to come over to the balcony wedge over here. We're going to put this along the front of each of those cubes. And then we're going to put another one below it. Okay, so this is going to create those protruding beams that were sticking out from the wall. And I like the look of that. We'll do the same thing again on the other side. Now, between those beams, it was also angled. So we're going to put another set of these behind that. And originally I had thought to use this block here behind there, but that did cause a few problems. So, and when you look at one of those screenshots, it's actually flat on the bottom back of the wall. So we'll put one of these in, but I'm not going to do that just yet because we're going to change the terrain theme on that. So while we're still, or the block theme here, so while we're still using this theme, let's go ahead and stick with that theme and build the diagnostic chamber here in the back. And to do that, we're going to use these wedge blocks. Kind of build a pseudo round chamber here. Like that. And then let's come over, and I want to pick up the flat angled wall here. We're going to put this halfway behind there like that. And actually, let's use the taller one. We're going to put this in like that. We actually need to make these a little taller. This is just going to make the build easier if we do this. The room in the movie wasn't quite this tall, but again, this helps make the build a little easier. And you'll notice the memory's starting to creep up there on the right, on the memory meter. So we can't go too crazy. We still have a hangar left to build, and still got some logic we got to put in for the quest. Alright, so we're going to put these in like that. Stack them up. Again, hanging halfway off the end of that block, that wall block, and like that. And then we'll put this down behind here, plug the gaps between those wedge blocks. And since we can't go all the way across, we'll use a few pieces here, like that. Actually, just to make this even simpler, let's take those out. Let's just slide this all the way over. So we'll do that. Then we have 2 pieces instead of 3. So there is the kind of round chamber for the diagnostic room. Okay. Now we'll come over here and pick up this little piece, the large Dimension wall corner. And what I want to do is create a little place to put Eve, or whoever the robot is that's going to be diagnosed. And we'll put this here like this. And that creates a little place where we can put a robot, like right in here. So I like that. And if you go over to the plants drawer, and we pick up the Fantasy Terrain 5, and let's put one of those on this side, and let's style this using the Stark Tech theme. And that gives us some Stark Tech machinery that I like. We're going to put another one here behind this, like that. And then we'll put this piece on this side, oriented that way. if we set this to the Start Tech theme, we get this little bit taller piece, which I like. And that's one of the reasons why I made the room 3 blocks high. It not only helps the build, it gives us this nice tall piece that we can use. And so with those moving pieces in here, it kind of looks like the robots are busy doing something. So that's good. Okay, now that we're done with this block theme, let's come back here and pick this piece up, put it back, and let's put a row of these in the back. And if I just used this same theme, that would blend in too easily with everything else that's there. And so we're going to change the theme on this. And we're going to use the Tomorrowland tile. It's a very similar color scheme, but the pattern's a little bit different. And we'll put these in here between our pillars. In the movie, there was kind of like a screen on the angled wall, but we don't have anything quite like that on our textures. So we'll use that instead. Okay. And so there, our room is starting to take shape. And I like the looks of that. Okay. Now we need to work on the pens. And to do that, let's start by placing the side walls in there. And we need to do that because once we put these blocks in, it's going to be really hard to put these pieces in there. So I want to come over here. And each of those bridge pieces are basically 2 blocks wide. So we have one's going to sit there, the next one will sit here, next one here, next one here, next one here, next one here. Okay, so we're going to need 6 of those on either side. And so if they're 2 blocks wide, that means we need to put these pieces in here like this. So that's every 2 blocks. Now this one we run into a problem because we hit that block there. So this one we have to turn it around. And we put that one in like that. Another one in like that. And then we don't need one on this side because we're going to hit that wall. Okay. And then again we do the same thing over here. Okay, and that's going to give us our side walls for the pens, which doesn't look quite like what's in the movie, but it's not bad. Once we bring those other things in here, these bridges, it'll look better. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 6 on the other side, which is why I dropped down 12 of these things. Okay? Okay. So now, in order to place these where they need to go, and actually before we even do that, let's put in our little robotic things here, because it might be easier to put these in place before we put in those other things. Whoops, put that one in like that. I thought I dropped it. It's not letting me put it down. Let's get out of the editor. Oh, one of those bugs. Well, I'm not going to worry about that because we won't see that problem. one's going to sit like that. When we reload the toy box, this will go away. And I've seen that bug before, so just ignore this object. Okay, so we have our robotic arms on either end of the main room. Okay, now to put in our front walls for the pens, we need a path creator. So we'll go up to the Creativitoys, select the path creator, and this is going to sit. If you're looking at the entrance to the bay, count over 1, 2, so on the second brace, come back over here. Yeah, we're going to drop this right down here on the ground, just like that. And we'll drop our second point right above it and exit. And on the path properties, just turn off auto start objects when connected. Okay, and then let's connect our first bridge here. So we'll open the logic menu, do a new path connection. Connect it to our path. And then we will select our piece here. Let's see, which way do we want the camera to go? Let's go like this. We'll go into the new logic connection menu and back out. That'll anchor the camera so we have control over it. Again, that's a bug that we can exploit. And then what we're going to do is come down here, and the horizontal offset, we're going to set this to 2. And actually, it'll need to be -2. Okay? Depending on which way you spin that bridge around when you drop it, it'll be 2 or -2. So since, however I put it in there, but you want it to end up where it's at right now. For the vertical offset, it'll be -4. This will drop it into the floor. And then the forward-backward offset, slide this over so it's up against that wall. So it's going to be -18. Okay? And again, if you put the bridge down the other way, then that horizontal offset will be 2, and the forward-backward offset will be +18. So you'll have to play with it depending on how you put that down. But notice it puts the little fencing there right along the front edge of the pen. And it looks pretty decent. It's a nice little detailed piece that I think looks better than just a flat block like that, styled with the hologram theme. That just has much nicer detail. All right, for the second one, connect that to the same path. Select the bridge piece, open the logic menu, go into Properties, Toy Box Path, horizontal offset -2, vertical offset -4, forward-backward offset this time will be -10. So it's going to change by 8 every time. And a new path connection. So this is pretty easy once you figure out what the properties need to be set to. And see how that looks? That looks pretty nice. I really like the way that looks. New path connection. Select that piece. Anchor the camera. Go into properties. I could do the rest of these offline, but I'm going to go ahead and just show you them anyway. So that one now is 6. New path connection. That way you can see exactly what the properties need to be. Oops, anchor the camera. Go into properties. -2, -4. Next one should be 14. The last one here should be 22. And you only need one path to do all of these bridge pieces. So you don't need to go crazy with paths and do one path for each one. You can just use the one path with a bunch of offsets and save yourself some memory. And there you go. There are the pens along one wall. And that just looks really, really nice. Okay, for the other side, same thing. We're going to connect it to the same path. Again, we don't need a second path for the other side of the room. Anchor the camera. Properties, toy box path. All right, this time the horizontal offset needs to bring this over, and we're going to set this to 30. Again, vertical offset -4, forward backward offset will be -18. And just verify that that's in the right place. And it is. The fence should be right in front of the city railing there. And it is. Next piece will go on the other side. Again, connect it to the path. Anchor the camera. Properties, toy box path, horizontal offset -30, vertical offset -4, forward backward offset, spin this around, whoops, -10. I was really pleased when I found that piece that had a railing on it. I looked at every piece in here, every building piece that I could look at, to try to find something that I could use for the front of the pen in the repair word here. And this was really the only thing I found that made any sense at all. And yeah, it doesn't look exactly like the movie, but I think it looks pretty good. All right, 3 more to go here. Horizontal offset -30. Vertical offset -4. This time forward-backward offset will be 6. Anchor the camera, properties, -30, -4, this should be 14. Yep. And the last one will be 22 again. All right, anchor the camera. -30. It's a little tedious, but takes a little time, but it's so worth it when you're done. Sometimes if you want to build something and have it look really good, it's worth it to take your time. Okay, and there we go. Those are the collection pens. If we come out of the editor, that looks really good. Those look like pens where you could put robots. And we got these moving arms and stuff in here, and it just looks really, really good. All right, let's put the ceiling on, and we'll be done. So we're going to come back over here, and I want to pick this piece up, put it back, and let's change the theme on this once again. We'll put this back to the white plastic panel. And just trying to get my screen grab here. Okay. All right, so we're going to pick this piece up, and actually we're going to drop it right here. Like that. Put these across here like that. Okay, so we left a 3-block wide thing down the middle lined up with our corridor here. And then on the other side, drop those blocks in like so. And while we're right here, on this side of the the corridor here, let's pick this piece up, put it back, and we'll put that piece down like that, just to kind of fill up that part of the wall. So that's all covered up. And it dead ends into something. And then we'll grab our platform over here from the platforming toys, the Droid Factory floating platform. I want those lights oriented the way you see there. We come and place this over here. Spin it 180 degrees, spin it 180 degrees, spin it 180 degrees. And that puts the dangling cables on either side so that it's not repetitive going all the way down the thing. And there's our ceiling for the room. And that looks pretty good. So that's how I built the Axiom repair ward. It obviously doesn't precisely match the movie, but I think it's a decent approximation. And to me, it looks and feels like the repair ward, so I'm happy with it. But leave a comment before you go and let me know what you think of it. And if there's something you would do different, let me know that in the comments too. I'm always looking for ways to improve my designs, so any input you have would be appreciated. Next time, we will build the hangar bay, where Wall-E first arrives on the Axiom, and that will finish the build exercise for this toy box. So be sure to come back for that, or better yet, subscribe to my channel by clicking my photo in the lower right corner of this video, and that way you won't miss it. Well, that's all for me today. Thank you for watching, and take care.